me is this kind of exploration on all these levels. When you were out in the city, for me, I wouldn't say it was easy, but for me, that was urban architecture, urban design, very, where was it? Art, urban design, architecture, a little bit hard to say. And for me, I don't mind. I had no problem there. I don't have a problem with this, except for I'm learning from you about your world, rather than thinking that I can see. So how critical do you, or how close to your urban design, architecture exploration do you feel this is? It doesn't have to be for my sake, how it's not a problem, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't become so large so you don't get to the end of it. You don't get or end. It doesn't have to be an end, but it has to be some kind of point where you feel, it is a body of work that makes sense to you. So you're not in 50 explorations at the same time, because intellectually and emotionally you don't have a problem handling them.
Each sheet is to your mind, and some of the topics might not be particularly logical. You don't have to kind of answer a question for my sake, but it's more how you focus material. How does it fit together in within itself, within its own context? For example, it might be post-it notes. So add headings. It might just be post-it notes, or what you feel is critical where. It's the portfolio is a kind of journey, and it might be a very individual journey. It might be a journey that is about glimpses into things. It might be a journey that connects very clearly from sheet to sheet, or it might be journeys that kind of small journeys that start to interlace. So these journeys between are just how they talk to each other. You don't have to build a kind of, it doesn't have to be an illustrated kind of sequence that is finished, but you lead people through looking at the material, and it will be a starting moment of looking at the portfolio in some shape or form. If it's time-based, if it's physically based, it still starts. A bit like a movie. At some point it starts. Even if it was an ongoing movie, you would still go in somewhere and start watching it, or hearing it, or experiencing it. And it's the same with this. So it's by starting to structure that. Fit in pieces you have, things you already have done, or that are there that you can touch, or you can see, or you can grab digitally. Put those in, and perhaps put in dummy pages for things that you just about. Maybe it's just a thing like that, that are sitting on one page. Maybe that's what it needs to be sometimes. Or a newspaper clip, or a piece of your own writing from, journal or report or.
And that's where I'm kind of thinking maybe, maybe you need to lay it out. Maybe you need to say, okay, these guys are interesting, but they're not about right now. They're not about what I want to focus on right now. And it is, if you don't have to go, Boris, you choose. I just mean if it works. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's your choice, Boris. You will. Okay, I'll see you later. Yeah. So make use of it. Steal ideas. Yeah, remember, steal ideas. Use animation. Think about the graphics. Think about the presentation. How things support each other. Narrative. Yeah. Things like that. Very important. So it doesn't become, you're not trying to resolve you. How? Because I don't think nobody can resolve me, and I'm quite a straightforward guy. Nobody can resolve you, not even you, I don't think. We are always trying, of course we are, but maybe the portfolio isn't on the project can't do it. So it's hard. Some of them have gone down to the animation exhibition thing in Edward Street. You're welcome to stay here. We are welcome to. It's Edward Street down there. Yeah. Edward Street. Yeah. So I think, Joy, are you going to go down and see that, or? Yeah, you can. You can. We can meet after. I'm Marcus present here. Yeah. If you want to go, I know Serene and Tintin and John have gone. You can go. Of course, it's your subject too, so it's your choice. It's your choice. Make notes in your diary. Make notes everywhere you can, on your cufflinks if you want, and take photographs or get inspired, steal ideas, as I was saying to your colleague Boris. You know, yeah, if you want, you choose, and we can have a chat when you get back. Yeah. Yeah. It should be Edward Street, which is the next building. It's not just down here and in 102, the black building. I think it is inside. If it's not there, it's in Grand Parade, but I think it's in the black building. They made that very late because for us it was quite funny because we were here. Yeah. This is now the 11th year here. Okay. For us. No, I'm lying. 10th year now. Okay. 10th year here. That building was nothing to do with the university at all. It was business premises. Okay. And they bought that office. They bought that from American Express. Interesting enough. They bought it from American Express and then decided now there's going to be university. So they made a huge amount of work in there. It was very noisy. When we had class, they were all going doing things. And then in the end, they did that yellow bit. They said, okay, we're going to open, that was our classroom, big classroom. So we get a big door here. We didn't really want that because suddenly people are walking through what was our classroom. So that was a bit strange. So that the yellow came very late for us. And they kind of cut a hole, put in the doors and said, no, this is happening. And we kind of, we didn't, So for us, it's very strange that suddenly
if it's cleverly laid out, it might be quite a floating interrelation, but how do we order, how things have come to be? And when, maybe the last thing you did or the final piece isn't necessarily the final piece in the portfolio. That might be another way. Order of project development might be then, we want to know about project development. We want to know about your thoughts, your processes, the way you have worked with it. Right? No, the report is about writing about it, but think about visually in the portfolio. We also want that. Okay. Yeah. It's not about, we shouldn't have the report to read to be able to understand the portfolio. The report is about you reflecting on getting there, but the portfolio should be a self supporting piece. It might be that you don't need to write very much in the portfolio about, I did this because I was thinking this, and then I did that, and I experimented here. Maybe we don't need so much of that because that can go in the report. Yeah. So the portfolio can be more visual, but it's still the order of product development. But we talk about journey of your discovery, the making processes. I mean, this is just examples. Increasing clarity and focus on increased clarity, focus and refinement. How you gradually, something that seems quite small, perhaps, growing gradually while you're processing it, while you're doing experiments, while you're thinking about it, you're discussing it, learn more about it, it grows into something. So in a way that, and how you refine, what do you refine out? How can we see that you have looked again and processed and worked with and reflected on work you've done yourself? With other words, some things maybe becomes another portfolio another time. Something maybe isn't so important any longer as it seemed in the beginning, and that's fine. Remember, you're not proving that you're.
How do you? What you did before for me was I could see the architecture, urban design in it. This is a bit border case. I can see the similarities in what you're working with. I've no problem with that. But I can also see it kind of tipping over into something that is maybe not an architectural or urban design exploration. Don't get me wrong. I don't. I don't have a problem with that. No. But how do you make sense of it? And do you want to make sense of it? That's your. No, I know, and I mean, I can. I know when I'm struggling with getting clarity, I almost feel like I can't see. Of course, I can physically see, but I can't see the pattern. I lose the sense of how the balance is in things. So, in a portfolio or in a project or whatever I'm working with creatively, and I suddenly feel, oh, I can't feel the pattern any longer. It's not even about knowing exactly what happens there. I can read the letters, or I can see the drawings, or I can see the 3D things, whatever they are, but I can't see the connection really any longer. It kind of, they all run off a bit, and the pattern disappears, and I feel I'm doing this, this, and it's all, of course, I'm doing it because I have a kind of drive in me, a kind of creative drive or intellectual drive to get attracted to something and interested. That's no problem, and it becomes an output, fine. But I can't see the overall pattern. I lose the sense of why are these things existing together? Why do they exist? Because it's a million billion things we can do. It never ends what we can do. And I get and that's for me. I need to kind of step back, and do it very simply. In my case, but what is the limit of step back? Step back. Well, it's not. It's not stepping away. But it's stepping back to, instead of everything being like this around me, I start to step back a bit. So I kind of, beginning, end, or this way or that way. I start to get perspective in English. I start to kind of see the whole, even if they don't make sense really yet. At least I can see them in the same field of vision. I don't have to kind of sit like this to see everything all the time. I have to just kind of frame it somehow and start to say important, less important. This comes forward, that goes back, that goes larger, that's too small. And I can kind of start to play with them a bit like, I don't know, I don't play music. That's why I wonder for you to find where you want to put pressure, where you invest things, which things do you let grow, which things do you say, okay, you can sleep, little babies. I see you another time. You come back again. They're all there. They're all invested. They all exist. But do they really talk to each other? Do they support you in growing your focus, or do they attract you in different directions? And I think the project can never, the portfolio, I don't think can ever be resolve us. Finish and complete. And they can never finish and complete, especially not ourselves. We are always there. As long as we are there, we're always there. And with other words, and that's why I wonder how, in a way, for me, you have family in architecture. I know from your work, from your material you have made, from your drawings, that you have no problem understanding that world, and maybe that world seems too simple for you. I don't know, it seems no. Self-obvious, maybe.
Some kind of linear robot thinker. Start there, end there. The journey has to be. It's a lot about how you process stuff. How does it matter to you? What decisions do you make? And as we have talked about before, for me, if this year, if the only thing you get out of it from a creative point of view is that you start to get your own way of thinking, and that's in the portfolio. That's the main thing for me. We are not giving you saying you have to design, a pizza menu or an exhibition or it doesn't work like that. We don't give you a task and say you have to meet those criteria, otherwise you fail. We are much more interested in how do you process your own way of thinking? How do you control how you communicate to other people and yourself? How do you reflect and refine how you communicate to your own thinking? For us, that's much more important, because that will help you much more than if you design. We could go here and we could do architecture, and I could show you any architectural detail you want, and we could talk to you about graphic design until the cows come home. But it's not. It's not the way you work on master level at university. You're much more self-directed, and we support you in the kind of controlling that. So, and a way of thinking around narrative, tease your viewer to want to see more, perhaps gradually building up to special moment or pieces that are then followed by quieter moments to then start build up again. Think of big sea waves building up and rolling in. It's a way of perhaps looking at the portfolio as this kind of journey, and you end up, you space out those kind of moments where it's real big insights or really literally central pieces. You don't want to ram them all together at the end. We go through a long portfolio, incredibly boring and very gradual, nothing happens. And then at the end you go to boom, 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 like 5 pieces that are, all of them kind of hit you in the face a bit and they're amazing. That would be a very, but it might be that you're gradually building up and saying this was a conclusive or a kind of particular moment in my journey, how I worked. And now you can kind of take that in a bit while it's a little bit quieter, the wind goes down, the waves are not so heavy, and you start to build up again. It's one way of looking at building up. It was advice I got myself many years ago from somebody that worked very much with exhibition catalogs and things like that.
Your life is your life. It's as long as it is. Well, I think. But it is that I do think it's just about, I want to make this easy, and not easy, but kind of space you can give yourself, a kind of journey through the project, a journey through that is interesting and important, but not try to resolve too much. Right now, choose a moment of all this, because you can think like this, and maybe you choose that bit, and you're saying, this year I do my English. For what reason? That's another debate. That's another conversation. Again, it's not so helpful, I don't think. That's something to talk with your friends and family about, and you can talk to me about it too. But I don't think it's a helpful kind of debate with yourself while you're doing it. Do it, get it out the way, then you think, okay, done it. I'm never going to come back again, or maybe I will. Maybe I will stay. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe you will do. Maybe it will be very useful, or maybe not that useful. But I would focus on when it comes to the English, I would focus on the end. I would say the end is there, the end date is there, and I'm going to work really hard here.
Things that are happening in your life, Now, let's pretend that what happens in this room and where you take the things that happen in this room is all that's going on. Let's pretend. That's the diary. Okay? So I'd like you all to stay as close to your project as you possibly can. Okay? Now, if you are writing a diary for your own purposes, your own lives, to follow what you said, that's fine. We don't want to see that. Okay? But what we want, yes, all right. So we want you to borrow those skills that we all learn since childhood. Okay? We want you to borrow those skills, and we want you to treat them seriously. And treat this, the process, I think John mentioned reflection. Okay? You're not reflecting on whether your landlord has solved the problem with the plumbing or anything to do with being a human, being a citizen of the city of Brighton, but you're reflecting on the last time you spoke to Frederick, the last time you spoke to Camilla, the last time you spoke to each other, the last time you saw something that kicked your project on. All right? And if you do that every day, I promise you, the rewards will be immediate, and then the next day, the rewards will be immediate. But let's do this column first, because the research journal is where we record these journeys that we're about to take. Okay? And it might be that, yes, someone wants to go to a permanent exhibition in the museum, which is a permanent building. Or it might be that we want to take advantage of the movable exhibitions that are happening just because it's May. Okay? Not the month, or not the name May, but the month May. Right? So that's why.
My month.
Your month, yeah, exactly, yes. The month of May, Brighton has a festival. So let's try and take advantage of that festival, but also introduce ourselves to various other locations within the city that we can visit.
Where is the festival exactly?
Well,
Everywhere.
let's do this. Yeah, it's everywhere. There's lots of spaces that run things every year, but they also run things in May as well.
There's a map.
Like
There's like 200
yeah,
maps.
you think that only one place will take place, but it's not.
Next
you
month
can
they
see
have
many.
Even in this building,
Yeah, even
currently,
yeah.
in this building.
Next
So
month is
you
Pride
will
Month.
be able to see
Exactly.
tents
June?
everywhere.
Yes, and they're gonna
Yeah,
walk
all of
like
May. Yeah,
many
by
people
the
per-
end of this.
Sure, that's in beginning of August.
at
24/7.
Oh, is it? In Brighton? Oh, right.
24/7.
Let me check that, because I think
Opening hours.
I think it's August.
With different places, there's loads of different events.
Actually, it's Pride Month in June.
Internationally,
Yeah,
June,
international is
but
June.
in Brighton it's August,
August.
first week of
Some
okay.
lady take
That everyone they come
concert.
to the street and walk around and
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
like a party.
Like
and-
Yeah, you would have finished your course by then.
It's a happening.
So even more reason to buy.
In many places.
I thought it was June.
Especially on the.
It's June in Berlin, June in London, I think August
In Brighton.
What I'm conscious of is when we were talking about the diary, our friend Joaquin said that there wasn't a problem with the diary, there was a problem with the research journal. So I want to try and look at that for a little bit. Joaquin, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I think my journal was only one paper,
Mhm.
2 papers,
Mhm.
and then I didn't continue doing it
Mhm.
because I was so like
We had the literature review.
literature review and 2 portfolio in a row,
Yes.
and now the portfolio is like haunting my brain and the diary and report 5 months. So I think the journal will be a problem with me because I'm not sure when exactly I'm gonna do it or about what or what.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I might wiggle towards our friend Anna from a kind
Yes.
of preparatorial point of view.
So we'll head off into the city once we've decided where we're going to go. You're more than welcome, but we might go into various other places.
I might end up there.